All right. I want to talk to you guys about something that happened to me this week. I started a 5 a.m. club challenge, and that club exists of me, myself. And after a couple of weeks, I sat down and I graded myself. And I'm going to be really real. I graded myself a C. Not because nothing happened, because it didn't happen the way I imagined it would. So here's the context to that. I decided to start this challenge at the busiest stretch of my entire work year. Okay? You would think summertime would not be that it would actually be the opposite. But being somebody that works in marketing, you're usually working during the slow periods where people are, doing holiday stuff. So this for me really was a mix of different things going on at work, like big stuff, product launches, rebrands, a lot. And then at home, we're working on intense projects, like we're talking major things, like a new HVAC system, which means natural gas lines coming into the house. Like, wow, talk about like, I wanted a reinvention, and I also am working on a reinvention of this property too. So wild times. And during all of this, all I could see were the gaps. The mornings I didn't wake up early enough, the days I got pulled into something else before I even started. So the version of myself I had planned to be versus the version that actually showed up, that's what got to see. Meanwhile, the people around me, my husband, my friends, they would say something totally different. And I'm so lucky that they reminded me to slow down and actually see the things that I overlooked, that I didn't give space to say, wow, I did get those things done. They kept pointing them out, and they were real things, like showing up even when it was hard things. I feel like that is so key. And I kept mentally crossing them off my list like they didn't count, just because I'm so focused on like the next thing, right? So it was really nice to have that beat of like, oh my God, they're right. Like I need to recognize, celebrate the tiny victories here. When I was listening to Atomic Habits, chapter 2 specifically, all about identity change. And James Clear said something that stopped me. He said the goal isn't to run a mile, the goal is to become a runner. The habit is just a vote you cast for the person you're deciding to be. Oh my gosh. I had to sit with that for a minute, because I was like, wow, lightning struck right then and there. I realized something. I hadn't been trying to build a morning routine. I've been trying to become a different woman. One who owns her time, one who doesn't outsource her sense of safety to external things and call it stability. So I feel like, wow, holy Moses, that came through very clear. And also one that who has built something over time, something that's my own, so that I really recognize the choices I have made. Some of those have come from freedom, and I want to call in more of those things. That's not a habit, that's actually an identity change. And those are not the same thing. So, sometimes we have to have that moment of like a reminder, right? So a self-improvement project has a finish line. You optimize, you measure, you arrive. An identity change, totally different. It's slower than that, stranger than that, more disorienting than that. It means releasing old versions of yourself that were actually keeping you safe. It means noticing the evidence of who you're becoming before you feel like that person, okay? And it means sitting with the uncomfortable truth that developing into who you are is a long process. It happens over time. And it will take time to become the next version of yourself. We live in this time where it's like, oh, I want this now, and instant gratification, right? No. You don't get to skip the middle part here. Nobody does. So just know that. This is real. Here's what I've been doing while I've been waiting to feel like myself, because I'm in that chrysalis period, right? I'm releasing old domain names, things I've collected, closing chapters I've been holding on to, rolling over old retirement accounts. Oh my God, this one was on my to-do list forever, which is not as easy as they tell you online, okay? It takes time. Getting my financial life to match the future I'm building, practicing tattooing, little sidebar there. I got certified last year, and so I'm practicing. And that really means just drawing a straight line over and over again with the machine. So, wow, talk about humbling, okay, when you're a beginner. Reducing the neat piles around the house, showing up to the 5 a.m. club, even when I'm only halfway showing up. None of it looks impressive from the outside. All of it is the work. And when I went back through my old journal entries from last year, I barely recognized the texture of that thinking. The worry was so heavy in my writing. The loneliness was real. The sense of what was possible had a ceiling I didn't even know I'd accepted. That ceiling is gone now. Finally gone. I didn't blast through it dramatically, which is also very funny and like gets you to be very humble in that moment. It just quietly stopped being there. And that happened too because of better habits, better, decision making, slowing down. What I'm really doing underneath all of this is building trust with myself. That's the key. That's the core desire. Between the parts of me that are scared and the part of me that already knows all of these things. I don't know if you've ever worked with IFS, internal family systems, or something similar, or even just notice that you have these different voices that pops up inside you that might pull you into different, directions than what your core higher self is thinking, then you definitely know what I mean. The part that wants to go fast, the part that wants to stay safe, the part that's tired, oh my gosh, that part sometimes is the loudest. That the part that's ready now, identity change is not about silencing those parts. It's about slowly, patiently convincing them that it's okay to move, that it's okay to move. And that's been a daily practice. So here's where I landed. A C in identity change might be the most honest A I've ever earned, because I showed up imperfectly, messy, in the middle of everything else. I showed up. And the woman I'm becoming doesn't need to be perfect. And that's something I have to tell myself all the time. She just needs me to keep doing what I'm doing. If you're in the middle of something right now, something that doesn't look impressive yet, and sometimes that's what I'm meaning by the word perfect, something that you honestly would give yourself a C on as well, I just want you to know that the middle is not evidence that it's not working. The middle is the work. I'll see you next week. I'll have a better update, and I'm just letting you know you got this. If I can do it, you can do it too. All right.